there go the brother right there, right? And he knows he's an Israelite, by the way. So for you black unconscious, the white man wrote that book. This is my brother.
Yeah, he went to the white man's university, all right, and he learned. I'm pretty sure he learned from white people, but he came to the conclusion that there were people called Israelites, and they were black.
Yep.
All right.
Now this is what he brings out on page 92. The title is called Eldad the Danite. In the 9th century, a black African Hebrew arrived in the city of Kairouan in Algeria. In this city was one of the famous Talmudic schools. The name of this Hebrew was Eldad the Danite. He told a credible story of a Hebrew empire south of the Sahara in the western Sudan. According to Eldad the Danite, the Hebrews in the interior of Africa spoke a Phoenician Hebraic language, which the Phoenician is basically Hebrew. That's basically what it is.
Yeah, Phoenician is from it's a Greek word for Canaan.
Yep.
The Canaanites. The Canaanites' language is the so-called ancient Hebrew, the Paleo Hebrew. Yep. Scholars call it Paleo Hebrew.
That's what
The
they spoke.
the word Canaan, like go open up another window and put in the word Canaan or Canaanite, and then hit image, and they're going to show you the Canaanite alphabet, and the Canaanite alphabet is the so-called Hebrew.
That's right.
Now scroll down and see what you get.
That's right.
Keep scrolling. Okay, yeah, you see that? You see that?
Yeah, you'll see it in post-production.
Yeah. Now keep scrolling. You're gonna see it. Every other shot, they're gonna show you their writing.
Oh, there it is over here.
And that's Paleo Hebrew.
Man, phonetic value. Yep.
That's why those black unconscious niggas try to say, oh, Hebrews, you didn't exist because the language they spoke was Phoenician. You dumbasses. The Phoenicians were speaking the Hebrew language, but people called it Phoenician because that was the name of the people in that land.
Right, and the word Phoenicia comes from the Greeks.
That's right.
Like the word Punic. The word Punic is a Latin way of saying Phoenician or Phoenicia, which is a Greek way of saying Canaan, Canaan.
There it is right here. Yep. The Phoenician, it says it right here. You'll see it. The Phoenician alphabet, 1400 BC. And the symbols are the symbols of ancient Hebrew. Not the Assyrian script, but the Paleo script.
The Paleo Hebrew.
Which I believe Paleo means
it means old. It means old. Old, ancient, you know.
I bet you that.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I bet you that bubble-eyed wonder. I bet you didn't
He don't know. He can't. Come on. No, come on. Come on. Don't give him that much credit. You're giving him too much credit, man.
Okay.
Hey, but let me say this now. I'm sorry, brother. The wars. Was it 3 or 4 Punic wars? It was the Romans that fought against Hannibal Barca, right? And there was a series of wars. Now the word Punic and Punic wars, that's what the Romans labeled it. That's the Punic is a Latin word. Okay, it means they would say Punicus or Punici, which is their way of saying Phoenicians, because they were fighting against the Phoenicians, which the Phoenicians were Canaanites, which you had Israelites that were all so-called Canaanites. One of the disciples of the Lord was a Simon the Canaanite. Okay? The Canaanite woman that he confronted, she was an Israelite woman, but she was being called a Canaanite, man. Y'all got to get this. Y'all better get, y'all throw all them goddamn books out, man, and get with the program, man. We're Israelites, okay?
I got something that's going to read into him.
All right, go ahead.
Right here. Babylon and Timbuktu, page 107, and going to page 108.
Yeah, Hannibal was one of our people.
He was an Israelite. It says the Hebrew Phoenician language and culture were invigorated and strengthened by the deportation and the migration of energetic black Hebrews from Palestine. Ptolemy Soter of Egypt conquered Syria and Phoenicia, deporting more than 100,000 Hebrews. The Persian king Cambyses had previously sanctioned the colonization of Hebrews in Egypt. During the wars of the Maccabees, thousands of Hebrews became slaves and exiles. Ptolemy Lathyrus captured 10,000 slaves from the region of the Sea of Galilee. The kings of Egypt, Psamtik I and Psamtik II, used Israelite garrisons on the Egyptian borders near Libya. The wars with Rome compelled hundreds of thousands more to escape into North Africa. We was always in North Africa. During the Punic Wars and after, North Africa contained a large Hebrew population. This Hebrew population, by the way, this is before the conquest of the Moors. So those North Africans that went up into Spain and Portugal,
the Moors wasn't even heard of, man.
Right.
The Moors came about.
Wasn't even heard of.
The Moors came about. If you go from 1400 back to about late sixth century into the 7th century AD. Okay, this was during the time
BC.
after. Right, this was during the time after. This was during the time of the before the Maccabees. This was during the time of the Ptolemies and Seleucid dynasties, of which goes back maybe about 200 BC, around there. All right, and that's when the Egyptian when the Ptolemies took over Egypt as crackers, white people, Edomites. That was during the time of about 300 years before the BC or BCE, before the Christian era. Because going back to Alexander the Greek and the 4 generals that rose up with him, they all took a part of that kingdom. Because it was Alexander that took down Egypt, but one of his generals said, "Okay, we're the rulers of Egypt now," and that was around 300 BC, and that's when they had Egyptians. They had Egyptians know how to read and write, do hieroglyphs, cuneiform, whatever you want to call it, and they had them. They enslaved them and had them learn Greek so they can rewrite everything that was on the walls from the so-called hieroglyphics, which is a Greek term, a Greek or Latin term, into the Greek, because the Ptolemy family, they spoke Greek, okay, and then from Greek it was translated into the Latin and eventually into the English. It was a man by the name of what was this guy's name? Francois Champion, which he was the one that knew the Greek and he read it from the Greek, the breaking down of the Rosetta Stone, right? So you Negroes didn't break down a damn thing, man. You got broken down, okay?
There's a lot more. During the Punic Wars and after, North Africa contained a large Hebrew population. This Hebrew population made converts and intermarried with the Canaanites and the native Africans. Now over here it says, in the time of Nehemiah, of Simon the Just, of Hannibal, of Hasdrubal, says Slotes. Slotes was Nahum Schultz is Slotes is a so-called Jewish archaeologist. I believe he was born in the late 1800s, coming into the early 1900s, and he was exploring in the northern part of Africa, and he brought out all kind of information that Israel was always dug in North Africa for a long time. And he goes on and says, look, Israel was up in North Africa going back to the founding when Carthage was founded. There was Israelites that was always there, so we was always in North Africa. It says the population of Carthage was derived from Palestine and its civilization